Okay, check it out. We're about to go live city. What is going on, folks? It is Chris over at VerrilloTrading, and it is time for a live stream. Honestly, these happen very rarely. These types of live streams, I don't get on lives very often. I just don't. It's not really something I do very often, but I wanted to do one today just so I can catch up with you guys, maybe answer a few questions. Sometimes I see people asking certain questions that I was asking maybe 5-6 years ago that I kind of know the answers to now. So I figured, once in a while jump on this live and then see what people want answers to, and we'll take it from there, basically. So I see there's already a couple of questions in the chat there, but feel free to put your questions in the chat, and I'm going to read them here on my phone while I look at the markets as well. So hope you guys are having a wonderful day here. It's July 10th, 2024. Hope you're having a wonderful summer. I definitely am. I was scouting out a trade on the bond market, but I seem to have missed it now. I do have an order in there still. So I think I just switched over to the screen cam setup, so you probably should be able to see that now. And I'm going to get to the questions in a second here. Just leave the comments and everything in the comment section. Can you guys hear me all right? Let me know if you can hear me all right in the chat, because I got it on my phone over here, so I'm going to follow along with what you guys are saying. Can you guys hear me okay? Is the volume good? Give me a sign of life. So basically, I was looking at this trade where we had multiple bond markets closing or trading right into the prior day close of yesterday, and it set up a long trade, and I guess I just didn't act fast enough on it. I didn't anticipate it fast enough, but I did want it to go long here. I missed the trade now, so I'll cancel my order off, unfortunately. But can you guys hear me all right? I'm not seeing any updates in the chat, so I'm just going to wait. Let's see here. Okay, he says good. Murat says good. What's good? What's good, bro? So Andy asked a question earlier in the stream, before the stream started, and he said this. He said, "Hi, if I may ask, what is the difference between futures/spot volume? What is more important to have?" I would say it's a pretty good question, and I guess different people might have different opinions on it. I kind of have the belief that all the markets are interlinked, and you may use the volume on both. If you use volume as one of your confirmation signals, I would say you probably need both. If you don't really look at volume too much and all you really care about is the price bars and price action, then you can kind of make an argument and say you don't really necessarily have to be looking at every single correlation, every single spot market, every single futures market that there is. You know what I mean? Different people have different opinions. And also keep in mind that in regards to certain commodity markets, it's very, very unlikely that you're going to be able to see all of the spot volume going through anyway. So if you're using volume as an analysis tool, you're never really going to get the whole picture about it anyways. So I don't think it's worth breaking your head over spot volume, futures volume. As long as you can get a decent picture of it, I think you'd be okay. But I'm of the belief that price action is more important. So for my case, let's go over to the screen. Oh, crap. For my case, the only volume I really look at is real-time volume to see how that's trading against the bids and offers that are being advertised. Because oftentimes what's trading is is not what's being advertised. It's pretty common, I guess. So that was that question. The next question is by Danny, and he says, hello, Danny. He says, I have Canadian stocks which are also listed in the US market. Can I transfer them from Canadian to US stocks myself at IBKR Pro, i.e. from the TSX to the NYSE? Thanks in advance. I'm not sure about that. That's a broker specific question that you'd probably want to ask the broker directly. Though I'm not even going to take a guess on it, but if I had to guess, I would say no, you probably can't do that, but you never know. I feel like it would be some kind of a special request. Yeah. So guys, I don't know if the stream's delayed or whatnot. The guys said the audio is good, so that's cool. That's pretty cool. I'm happy that the audio is good. What's going on, Murat? What's going on, Victor? What's going on, Danny? What's going on, Francesco Di Bello? I like your name, sir. What's good, bro? Okay, we got a couple things coming in, guys. Drop your comments in the chat here while we're watching these futures markets. I was looking at crude oil making a rally, quite a big rally earlier. Bonds making a rally up from the prior day close, which is a trade that I missed. And now we're trading back into the same day range. You know, I guess you can arguably look for a short setup here. The volatility is just quite low today. I'm going to close this chart book because that's the one that I use for testing. So I'm going to close that one off. Might get a CPU exception, yeah, because there's a study there I'm working on. Crude oil recovered quite considerably today, now trading at 82.50. Very interesting. We're 12 p.m. here on a Wednesday. There's an auction at 1 p.m., a 10-year note auction, if I recall correctly. 10-year bond auction. So that's something we'll be watching for sure. Yeah, so Max, what's going on, Max? He says, hello, thanks for answering our questions. It feels like I have a pretty good strategy, but I still can't become profitable. Could you please give me some advice? I've been trading for 3 months. Oh, man. Yeah, man, welcome to trading, bro. 3 months is not enough. It's not enough. You need to get really more a feel for the markets over a longer time frame. You know, I would say 6 months minimum. Like if you really dedicate yourself to it for 6 months, you can do a lot of progress in 6 months. Ideally, you want to stay in the game for multiple years because you get an idea of different ways that the market shifts around and the way the market reacts to different catalysts that come out on the news and stuff. It's important to stay in the game for a long time. That's the main thing I would tell you. You know, if you think your strategy is good, okay, whatever. I don't think that really means anything if you think your strategy is good, because there's always room for improvement. You're always going to you always need to improve. And I also think that if you think that your strategy is good, it means that I don't think that's the proper way to think. I think you have to think that your strategy needs work all the time because it does. Because the market's constantly developing. You know, you can have a good run in your trading. You can have a time period where you're doing pretty well. I've been doing pretty well this year, but I also know very well that I have a lot of work to do, you know. I think that if you ever reach a day where you think you have something like perfectly good, it's not a great mindset to have. Yeah, so that's what I can tell you basically. I mean, you just need to be in the game for longer. You need to stick around the game longer. You need to, I guess, just get your feet wet, follow different people, what they say and stuff, and listen to them and see who's telling the truth and who's lying and whose predictions came true and whose predictions didn't come true. And at the end of the day, nobody knows anything. So that's what I can say. No problem. Danny says, thanks for your answer. I do appreciate your knowledge about this. Your knowledge in yes. Yeah, no problem, dude. No problemo. I'm not putting any audio or music in the stream here today because last time I did that, I got copyright strike like 7 times in the same stream from supposed copyright-free music, which was not copyright-free, of course. So we're just chilling over here looking at these afternoon markets, man. I haven't done a live stream in a long ass time. And I got a lot of work to do, so I'm going to try and keep this stream pretty short, to be honest with you guys. Pretty like an hour max, an hour something. Depending on how many people ask questions, I'm not going to stick around too long. Let's see here. Thank you very much for all your knowledge sharing. Watched a few of your videos and subscribed to your channel. I appreciate that, JP. He says, I have 4 questions. Hope you don't mind. My questions will benefit all newbies. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm waiting. I'm waiting patiently. Okay, I see a couple that just came in. Fudo, hello mate. What's your opinion on the liquidity concept and stop loss hunting by smart money that got hype recently, and your opinion about the market being run by one big algorithm? I like that. I like that. You know, I like to think about different concepts of how things operate. I'm the type of person that I don't typically have like one very set belief system of how the markets operate, but what I do believe about how they operate is that they're very dynamic and they change a lot and they react to things, and they're constantly shifting. And I know a thing or two about like the trading industry because I'm a YouTube content creator, so I've seen, you know, like how this all sort of works, right? So, you know, liquidity concept, stop loss hunting by smart money. I mean, yeah, I think it's just common sense. I mean, when you talk about stop loss hunting, what that relates to is the concept of price action. It relates to price action. And you know what? Fat Cat is better at explaining some of these things than I am. Because, you know, a lot of the stuff with price action, after a while, it becomes intuitive. Like, you just see it happen so many times that you just know. Like, for example, you want to wait for a retest before you go in and enter the trade. Or you might wait for, you know, depending on how patient you are for the setup. Because I'm the type of trader that I sometimes campaign entries depending on how long the time frame of the setup I'm looking for is. Like if I'm looking for a multi-day entry on crude oil, for example, I'm not just going to take one entry. I might take 2 or 3 different. I might plan out 2 or 3 different entries, right? And when I'm planning out those 2 different entries, I'm keeping those concepts in mind. Like you're talking about stop loss hunting. I keep that all in the back of my head. It's like a back pocket card that I know that might be played anytime, you know? And if it does get that kind of stop run, I'll be ready for it because I've kind of meditated on the fact that, you know, these scenarios might play out. You know what I mean? There's a multitude of different scenarios of ways that the market can play out. And I think it's important to kind of do a bit of visualization to be ready for anything. You know, I mean, you show up and trade. I mean, you better be ready for anything, because if you're not ready for anything, you're going to get in trouble fast, you know. So, you know, I totally believe in stop loss hunting. I mean, you can see it every single day. I mean, you look at crude oil, the way it trades, right? It often, I mean, it moves so fast and weird, right? But you'll see it oftentimes, it'll slam down like 7, 8 ticks, make a new low, and then bang, it's reversed already, you know. So that was most probably just some stop orders that got triggered, and then whatever algorithms came in and just bid up the price again, or maybe the stop losses were triggered, and then whatever offers were there that offered the market down were not real offers, and then those offers pulled, and then the market got bid up by 4 or 5 ticks again, you know. And you'll see this happen so many times in crude oil. It's like literally how it works, you know. So thank you guys all for joining today. I appreciate you guys joining. I'm just looking at the comments here on my phone here. Yeah. Nobody knows anything is the most honest response I've ever heard. Yeah. Well, you know, I'm sure some people know things. I mean, I do think that some people know certain things that we don't. I mean, it is a hierarchy. I do kind of view the markets as a hierarchy, meaning that, you know, you got your big players, your Black Rocks, that kind of, they have the capacity to influence the market. And if, they know more than we do. I mean, it's just nothing, there's no question about that. So they know certain things. You know certain things, I know certain things. I have certain concepts, theories, strategies. I have data behind some of my trading for this year, last year, and all that. But you don't know what BlackRock knows, that's for sure. JP says, I have some experience with stock and options trading 3 years ago, planning to get back in the game with futures now. Could you recommend good learning resources, online or books? Yeah, honestly, I've been kind of out of the game with learning resources lately. I mostly watch YouTube, and I know that's kind of funny because people like don't trust YouTubers, whatever. But I mostly watch YouTube for the purpose of getting sentiment about the marketplace, not so much about learning about different strategies to trade, but more just to get a feel for what other investment firms or other traders on the internet think about a certain market and how they're able to kind of explain themselves about their trading. So in regards to educational resources, guys, I mean, I can tell you what I looked at. I did the John Grady. I looked at some of John Grady's webinars for futures trading. Although I would say some of them are pretty outdated. I think he does newer ones now. Although I don't know about if they're good or not. I don't recommend them. I don't know. But I did listen to some of his futures trading webinars, trading bonds. I looked at the Gary Norton scalping manual, which is interesting. Gives you an interesting fundamental concept of how scalping works. Though it's important to kind of take that knowledge and take it out of the context of how he's presenting it and really try and apply it to today's markets, because you can't just take what he says and just apply it right away and expect to make money. I mean, maybe you can. I wasn't able to. Like, I had to apply it to what I was doing. The bond market's doing nothing. It's trading in a friggin' 2-tick range. Crude oil's moving around. For futures trading and chart reading and analysis, which is my real weakness. Yeah, JP, I'm really not sure, man. Sorry about that. I really don't know about any educational resources. A lot of the stuff that I have going on here is pretty much, it's a kind of a piggyback on some market profile concepts that I worked on with a friend of mine named Osman a few years ago. And he taught me about certain market profile concepts like one-time framing, M period, time, as how time relates to price action. I think that's an important idea to be aware of. Certain, the concept, when people think about market profile, right, they think of that TPO profile chart, right? But market profile in itself, I think of it more as like a study than one way of viewing the market. I think there's many components to market profile that I guess what I've done is I've taken certain of those components and I found those to be more reliable, and I use those in my trading. So yeah. So I'm going to keep going here with these questions while I take a sip of this coffee here. Let's see here. Francesco says what Fudo was talking about, stop loss hunting, is mostly bullshit, smart money, blah, blah, blah. Who wrote the algorithm? Where was the algorithm 100 years ago? I mean, I just think markets just naturally stop hunt. It's not like a cabal algorithm that does it. I think the markets just naturally do this. I mean, yeah, that's how I can say it, How do you calculate overnight fees in IBKR on a CME exchange? That's what Dave said. Hey, Dave. Not sure what you mean by that, sir. Not sure what you mean. Overnight fees. You mean like overnight margin fees, like interest fees that you pay? Because I know for a fact that with futures, you don't pay interest overnight because you don't use any upfront cash to enter a futures position. Whereas with stock, you would. Let's say you go long the S&P, SPY stock, right? And on margin, so your overnight negative cash balance is negative 100,000 because you bought a lot of stock on margin. You're going to pay a little interest on that overnight. Maybe that's what he's talking about. But if you did it with the futures, if you bought S&P 500 futures, your maintenance margin requirement will increase, but you don't use any cash to enter the futures position, so it doesn't affect your cash balance, so you may not have a negative cash balance, so there's no overnight fees to pay with when you trade futures. Yeah. Nobody of consequence is out there hunting for retail stop losses. Yeah, I would agree. I would agree. Like I said, I just think the market just naturally does that. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't, but it's definitely something that markets will naturally do. No institution uses hard stop loss like retail can do. Yeah, that also makes sense because I like that way of thinking. It's basically it's a way of thinking of where you think of your trading more as like a hedging business rather than trading outrights all the time. And I know I'm blurry as hell. What the hell happened here? I got to get back. There it is. Yeah. So like I do this a lot now. I started doing this more, which is trading between multiple accounts. So for example, I might have a core short position in one account, and then I may go into the futures market and do a little bit of day trading and hedging. If I think that the market's doing something that's against my core position, I think I have another contrarian idea, I might go in the futures market in my separate account and start hedging or put on a hedge, see how it plays out, maybe take a profit on the hedge. You know what I mean? And I don't know what that, I guess it's just hedging, right? That's hedging. So you have your core position and then you use your futures account to put on a hedge. And the worst case scenario, you lose a bit of money in the futures account. It doesn't matter because you're making money on your core position. And ideally what you want, if you're an experienced trader, I mean, I would do it this way. I would trade with a little bit more leverage in the futures account because futures are naturally more leveraged anyways. And obviously if you have, you know, a good system that you have confidence in executing, I would say that doing that's, you know, pretty good, I guess, if you're into that. JP Reddy says, question 2, until I learn to read the market trends and chart analysis, do you suggest I join a trading chat room service? If yes, do you recommend any? No, I don't recommend any. I don't suggest that you do anything. I mean, you could. I mean, what I would say is I think you might already know the answer by asking the question that you're asking. I think that you may already know what you need to do. You know, I mean, it couldn't hurt, right? I mean, it doesn't hurt to get ideas from other traders to see where people are at. The only problem is it's just so difficult to sift through the noise, you know? And if I'm not mistaken, he's the guy that said I was trading for no, he's not the guy that said I was trading for 3 months. That's Max. He said he's getting back into it. I mean, it's up to you. What I would say is whatever style of trading that you like to do or that you excel in, whatever part of trading that you excel in, try to find other traders that are talking about some of the things that you're very interested in. And I would say go deeper into that niche, go deeper into that rabbit hole, you know? Because I would say if there's any one way to make money trading, it's to kind of lean into something that you naturally know more about. You're more well studied in. Does that make sense? Because if you start switching strategies and start exploring all kinds of different stuff, I mean, you're never going to find out what works. You just have to stay with one thing. Island Boy, how long have you been trading full time? I don't trade full time. I trade part time, a couple hours a day. How long have I been trading? Since 2018. I started getting into investing in 2018, and then trading in mostly 2019. Stocks, and then I got into options. Made a good amount of money, lost it all. Then I got into more short-term scalping, intraday trading. I was trading for lower risk, you know, because, you know, when you lose a lot of money, because you gotta you change up your strategy a bit. You're like, all right, we're gonna take a less risk now until we become consistent. So I'm only now at the point where I'm starting to gradually increase my risk tolerance to higher and higher levels. I believe that the main problem is psychology, and many traders underestimate it, just like I did. How do you approach this aspect of trading? Do you do any psychological exercises? That's what Max said. Yeah, I think it's reasonable to say that the main problem is psychology. I mean, it absolutely is. There's a lot to unpack there. And I don't think there's one set solution for how to tackle this for everybody. I really don't think there's one set solution, because it kind of goes back to your underlying deck of cards that you're dealt with, your predisposition. That's kind of what you have to work with when it comes to your trading psychology and all this. I mean, you got to be a little bit more specific. I mean, exercises, psychological, I mean, not really. I think everything is a kind of a product of your mission. And I may have said this in a video, and I'm also quoting this from a guy I follow on Twitter who I respect his content. I think everything's a product of your underlying mission. So any psychological exercises you might do to kind of get yourself into a better state of mind, or to kind of do work related to trading, or work relating to regulating your mindset or your things outside of trading, I think it's all a product of your mission. Because if you set out to do something with enough discipline, with enough, I don't know the word I'm looking for, you're going to end up doing all those other things anyways as a natural product of what you're setting out to do. So let's say you get up every single morning and trade early in the morning at 8 in the morning, right? US Treasuries open. I mean, you're naturally going to force yourself to get more sleep earlier at night. You're naturally going to have to get up earlier. What happens when you get up earlier? Well, you get some of that morning air in you. You have a little bit of time to prepare before your session. You might take a moment to just like sit down, breathe. You might spend a bit of extra time preparing your charts after hours. And then as you trade every day, this is something that I think new traders run into this problem a lot. It's what I call your emotional shift. After about 3, 4, 5 days of trading, you're typically not in the same emotional state as you were the first day, because you may have had multiple winning trades. You might be on a bit of a up and down streak. And depending on your level of experience in trading and understanding of what you're doing on a bigger picture scale, you may not be able to handle that. You may not be ready for that. I mean, I certainly wasn't. I've had multiple times in the last few years where, you get on a little bit of a good run and then you sabotage the whole thing in like 1 or 2, 3 trades, right? You go on a run for like 5, 7, 10 days maybe, and then you sabotage it in like 3 trades. Or maybe not 3 trades, maybe like 4 trades where you sized up a little bit. And then you look back on it and hopefully you see the mistake there. Hopefully you're able to extract some of the elements that contributed to you making a mistake. One of the biggest ones for me is trading when the market's too slow. Like sometimes I'll often show up later in the day and I'll say, hey, why don't we just mess around and play some trades? Typically a bad idea. If you want to do it just as a, what do you call it? Like an educational experiment, then that's fine. Sure, whatever. Don't do it on live money though. Like, see, the way the bonds are trading now, I personally don't really see much here. I mean, they're trading in an intraday range. Nothing's going on. The only trade was the 1 year where they were bouncing off the prior day close. Hindsight now, obviously. You may get it is possible to see continuation. You could make an argument here and say, well, okay, if it does go back to the prior day close, I don't want to be long anymore. I'd rather go short. If it reclaims the prior day close, I'd rather go short in reverse. So you could make an argument here and say, okay, I'm going to be long as long as it's above the high, as long as it's holding above prior day close on multiple of these markets here. We're talking 1350 on the 10-year. We're talking 2950 on the 5-year, and we're talking 875 on the 2-year. You could make that argument. We also have a 10-year auction in 20 minutes, which I'm going to be waiting for. Something that might happen on the 10-year auctions, you might get a slam down and then reclaim it. That's something I'd go long on. If it did slam down below that and then reclaim, I would take a long on that. Even if it's just for a couple of ticks scalp, and then see if you can get something to ride. If not, you scratch the rest of the trade. You know what I mean? So that type of, you see what I was just doing there, guys? I was kind of like visualizing for a potential trade setup that might set up in about 20 minutes. That's it's very common to do when you're trading. I'm going through the questions. And Mihi M says, which hardware and which operating system should I use for an automatic trading system strategy, and maybe same or different system for big data backtesting analysis? I have no clue. I mean, use whatever fastest system you can have. I mean, I really don't know. I mean, which operating system should I use? I mean, it doesn't really matter. You could use any operating. Use the most stable operating system you can. You know, it's a matter of preference. If whatever software you're using works better on Windows, then use Windows. You know, if whatever if you're more of a Linux guru, then use Linux. You know, if you're really a Mac guy, use Mac. I mean, I don't think it really matters, because you're not going to be able to really compete for ticks when it comes to automated trading. For you're not going to be able to compete with the high frequency traders. You know, so it doesn't really matter that much. The latency worldwide is it's pretty low, I would say. Even if you're in Europe trading in the USA, or in South America trading in the USA. I mean, I've heard some reports on Sierra Chart's support board that people like in Thailand and Asia sometimes experience latency to the CME. But they can fix that. There's ways around that using today's technology and all that. So I mean, I don't think the operating system matters too much. I think that's more of a personal preference. I typically stay away from Windows except for a few things these days, just because that's a personal preference. I am on Linux right now. I'm streaming to you guys on Linux, and Sierra Chart's running through a compatibility layer called Wine. Mio Trading says, do you trade stocks like Warrior Trading? No, I do not. Not right now. I do trade stocks every now and then, but no, I don't trade them like Warrior Trading. Question 3, JP, what's going on? He says, here's my plan in terms of the trading platform. I used Fidelity in the past and I didn't quite like it. I'm planning to go with IB, so open an account with them and start learning TWS. I intend to paper trade on TWS first and then learn Sierra Charts. Paper trade first, then trade micros for a long time before I play the big boys minis. Your thoughts? I mean, yeah, that's a decent plan to start off with. Just know that no plan will ever go as fully planned. You're going to deviate at some point. You're going to realize something that was different that you didn't know when you were starting, and you're going to deviate from it. It's not going to go as planned. You're going to go through multiple struggles during that process, whether it's through learning the software, whether it's through experiencing bugs in the software, trying to do things in the software that's not supported in the software. The more variables you have at play, the more stuff can go wrong, I would say. So you just have to kind of go with it. I mean, the best thing you can kind of do is just go with it. You can say, okay, I want to start trading the micros, whatever, trade this trading platform, whatever. Just go ahead with it. Set yourself a plan for, 3 to 6 months. And, you can make adjustments to it as it goes along, and then just take it from there, because it's going to change, It's going to change. When I started, I did think that too. I said, one day I want to trade the S&P E-mini futures too, the big ones. Well, now I'm at a point where I don't really even trade the S&Ps. I don't trade the S&Ps too much. So, it changes around. And they are on all-time highs right now as we're speaking. The Russell ain't though, and neither is the Dow. But the Dow is going into some resistance. I think it traded into a weekly resistance just now. So did the Russell. Very interesting. Island Boy says, psychology is very layered. It goes all the way down to your own belief system, your attachment to money, your personality. Yeah, I would agree. It's about how you view risk. There's a lot to unpack. Like, you really need a specific scenario to unpack there. I mean, I can talk a little bit about self-sabotage and springboard psychology, which I think is important. It's basically the concept of the higher the swings. I mean, the more swings you have in your emotions, I guess. And even you could even say P&L. The more swings you have in your P&L, some traders would say the more risk of ruin you have, which is true, but it also means you have the highest chance of making profit too. But the springboard psychology concept, basically it's that when you're at rock bottom, you have the highest probability of getting out of rock bottom. Like when you're at pure rock bottom in life, you only can go up from there because you have nothing to lose. So there's a certain mindset of when you're at pure rock bottom in something, that it's like this mindset of like, okay, we're just going to take base hits and run up a bag because that's all I can do. And I keep going out of focus. I don't know why. I think it's my hand. When you're at rock bottom, you have the best chance of springboarding out. And the opposite is that when you're at the top, and you think you're at the top, right? It's all about how you perceive it. If you think you're at the top, you can only go down because you think you're at the top. So it's a lot about how you perceive things. Parshav says, hey, today my trading was a bad day. Prop firm got liquidated. Okay, sorry about that. That's what I'm hoping not to do right now, Mr. Pushup. What's going on? 1998 trades was good. Cheers, man. Cheers, bro. I'm not trading that crap on all-time highs. You got to be out of your goddamn mind. Maybe the Russell or maybe the Dow. I mean, I like the way they're trading into those levels there, but that's about it. Crude pulled back from its highs, and now it's consolidating here. It's reclaiming a... yeah, I guess you could say there's a bit of reclaim there. It's interesting. I mean, it traded into a daily level on crude as well as spot crude. Traded into a weekly level on UK, on a monthly level on UK oil. Traded into a weekly level on RB, which is, I think it's gasoline, which is very strongly correlated to crude oil price. So, you know, there's argument to take a short here. There is an argument for that. Mihi says, can I open different trade positions in the same account, like having a long-term short position, but shorting intraday both the same future, or does it have to be different accounts? Where should I make an account, and am I allowed to use leverage? No, you can't go long and short the same futures contract in the same account. No, you can't. They don't let you do that. You need two different accounts for that. Two different. Stay focused. Futures are naturally leveraged products. They're already leveraged from the exchange. If you want me to clear that up, I could. Mr. Pushup says, this summer volatility on NQ is reminding me of the good old NQ days. What do you mean by the good old NQ days? Like when? Can you be specific about what time? Q4, JP, if you explore dash trading, what are your thoughts about it? Highly monthly cost? Worth it for someone like you and not for a newbie like me? Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a good way of putting it. I think that, honestly, bro, now that Sierra Chart has stocks data and full MBO and order book and low latency data feed directly to the NASDAQ, the only thing it's missing for stock data is the full level 2, I would say, which is arguable if you even need it. But I mean, I'd like to see it. It'd be cool if you could see that. But I mean, dude, you get the same thing as you get on Dash Trader on Sierra Chart. So I don't really think it's really worth Dash Trader, in my opinion. So, bro, it's just my opinion, bro. Well, maybe that's what happened to me. Okay, best sources for start writing all sorts of own scripts in Sierra Chart, any books, courses, or channels. You could check out Frozen Tundra. He made some videos of how to compile a study for Sierra Chart. I also have a couple videos, though I don't remember which ones they are, but they're somewhere on the channel. Yeah, just do a search, bro. Do a search for Sierra Chart, ACSIL, and then also look at their documentation. In regards to the books, you have their documentation that's pretty clear for a lot of the things. And then it just takes you, you know, a lot of trial and error of like, well, you have to study the code. I mean, if you go in the folder, if you go in the Sierra Chart ACS source folder, right, you have all these different code source files here that you can review, and they have a lot of the studies that are built into Sierra Chart. So you could just open this up and then just start examining what the code for a Sierra Chart study looks like, you know. And here, you know, I have this tab view that I can go ahead and select whichever one I want, you know. So, you know, that would be the way of doing it first, just literally studying the code and then asking questions, trying stuff. And I would say the best piece of advice that Frozen gave me is when in doubt, print it out. Actually, it's when in doubt, print shit out. Which means just print everything to the log until you get your levels right, until you get your values right. Make sure you're getting the right values. Make sure your code's doing what it's supposed to do. And you just take it from there, you know, and then you gradually go into more abstract concepts. Though not too abstract, because your head's going to start rotating on a stick at some point. But yeah. Let's see here. So by the way, guys, if you're just joining here, my name is Chris, and I like to make videos about trading software and trading. And every now and then I'll do a live stream like this, though it's very rare. So, and I got a pile of work here to get to later, so I don't know how much longer I'll stay around here. So this bond auction is going to take place in 9 minutes. I was also looking at the corn markets, but nothing's going on with that today. They're low volatility, just trading in like a 2-point range here, it looks like. So basically the name of the game is we're going to watch the 10-year bonds trade here in 10 minutes, and hopefully my system doesn't have too much latency here from this OBS that's lagging my display manager like crazy, because that's what it does on Linux. So we're just going to chill out and wait for this to happen. In the meantime, drink coffee and answer your questions. I'm glad it's a rainy day today. I purposely scheduled the stream today because I knew it was going to be, well, there was rain in the forecast, you know. So good day to stay inside and live stream, baby. D Nice Effect says this makes so much sense. Okay, I don't know what he was talking about, maybe the psychology stuff. If you had 3 most important tips for a new trader who just started trading, what would that be? Oh man, look, I might have to get back to you on that. If there was 3, I really don't know. I'm a bit out of it today, I'll be honest with you guys. Like, I'm still a long night, let's just say. But I would basically say one thing would be plan for longevity in trading. That would be one thing that I think is very important. Plan for longevity. And what I mean by that is you don't have to plan for like a 20-year career in trading, but you have to plan to be in the game for at least a few years to learn the bare bones about how these things operate. You know, you have to be willing to adapt to what the markets are doing and how they're changing. And then I would say after a certain time, you're naturally going to kind of fall into some kind of a niche. And then that's when the real work starts, by the way. Because once you know once you have like a general framework of what you operate under, that's when the real work starts. Because now you find yourself doing bitch work a lot of the time. You know, reading up on sentiment, studying price action late at night, doing some backtesting sessions with the same old strategy you've been doing with just a minor tweak. You know, that's when the real work starts, in my opinion, is when you're already in, you're deep into one strategy, you have the knowledge already under your belt. It becomes redundant after a while. It becomes very, very, very redundant. And I think that you should embrace the fact that it's redundant, because your most redundant work is typically your most reliable work. That's the paradox. Sure, everyone wants to have a fun side project, you know, a fun, emotionally satisfying side project. But you know damn well it doesn't pay the bills. You know damn well that doesn't have a high upside. But you know damn well that the thing that has the highest upside is the most redundant, friggin' boring thing you've been doing for like 3 years straight, that you know exactly how it operates. It's so friggin' boring, you want to bash your head against the wall when you're doing it. You know what I'm saying? So you just have to embrace that. Embrace the redundancy of it. You know, treat it like work, because that's what it is. It's work. And you have to like it too. I mean, you know, you have to like it to a degree. I mean, I've heard different stories too. I've also heard of people like just brutally hating their jobs, and that's kind of what propels them to be the best too. The fact that they hate it so much. I've heard of that too, you know. So it really goes back to like what deck of cards that you dealt from the start, you know. Because I think that you can despise the markets and make money trading. Because there must be a reason for you to despise the markets. You must really hate them there must be a reason that made you hate them. What's that reason? That's the reason that makes you a good trader, probably. It makes you understand them. I mean, if you really hate the markets that much, you got to know why you hate them. I mean, I hate certain things about the markets for sure. I mean, they trade very robotic, very fucked up. That's the only way I can say it, you know. But that's also the way they operate, you know. There's two ways of seeing it. You want to trade with the robots, you have to trade like a robot too. You got to stick to your game. You got to stick to your guns. You got to stick to your plan. So I'm just looking at the bonds over here. I'm seeing if they're going to thin up in about 3.5 minutes here, 12:56 and 30 seconds. Did trading help you move out? I don't know what you mean by that, move out. You mean move out of my parents' house? Actually, no. I moved out long before I started trading. Fat Cat made a vid inspired by me, and it was a HIT, LOL. A hit, like a hit piece. Oh shit, dude. Don't tell me Fat Cat's doing hit pieces on you, Mr. Push Up. Oh. Wait a minute. No, never mind. It's impossible. No. I was thinking you were someone else for a second, but no, it's not possible that you're that guy. Because I know how that guy writes. It's not you. It's not your style. Because, you know, some people in the trade, I've seen a lot of people, they go by different aliases, and they have like 3 different freaking YouTube accounts where they constantly change their name. I know one guy that did that. But yeah, you're not that guy right now, so it's okay. You're good. Thank you for your thoughts on DAS. My goal is to go with Sierra IB. Do you think I should do some real trades on TWS before I sign up to Sierra? I'm not concerned about the Sierra fee. I don't know what you should do, my friend. I think you should just do what you feel is natural, man. I think you should go with the flow and do what you feel is natural for what you have to do. I mean, if you're using IB as the broker, then yeah, logically you want to learn how to trade on their trading platform without the need for any third-party software, for sure. Go and put some trades on that software. It could be on the paper trading account. I'd recommend the paper trading account first, especially if you're experimenting with complex order types and things like that. If you guys just got here, remember to like the stream. If you guys have any questions about trading or things for me, life, whatever, ask them. I can answer. As long as it's not too explicit for YouTube. The bond market is moving around here. We're seeing a considerable amount of volume come in on the 10-year here. I want to see if it's going to thin up at all. It's not thinning up so far. We have 1 minute till the auction. Take a look at this depth. You see how, look at the depth. This is an average depth number. You see this 800 over here? You see how it went down? It's not really going down too, okay, it is going down, 796, 800. But we're not seeing the liquidity thin up too much on the book. We might see it happen right on the top of the hour, and you're gonna see that. So it's just kind of an indicator which helps me get an idea of how the liquidity, there it is, it's starting to thin up now, 500, you see that? Prior day close. That's all we got in play. That's the majority of what we got in play over here. 1 p.m. baby. Is it a write-off or is it nothing? What's going on over here? 30.75 prior day close on 5 years, 29.5. It's 13.50 on the 10-year, and it's 8.75 on the 2-year, which is still in that range. It's been trading at 8.75 for the last 30 minutes, I would say. The 2-year. There, look how thin the book is now, baby. This would be considered gambling. If I put a bid right here at 29.75, it would be a good gamble right there. Big gamble, big gamble. But I got my hand on the cursor in case. What you want to get a feel for, I think, is as soon as the book starts to thicken up again, that's when you know the event is pretty much over. Right now, it's not over yet. It's just getting started here. We're going to see some kind of a move. Something's going to happen here. The book is non-existent at the moment. We got some robotic one lots going on. If it slams down and reclaims, you buy them. If it slams down and holds the offer at 29.75, you could short them. You could short them. If it does nothing, we'll just do nothing. That's trading for you. That's trading for you. But it is waiting for something. It's waiting, it's waiting, it's waiting. There you go. Slams up. Interesting, okay. Volume, volume, volume. Let me just quickly look at where it traded. Nothing important for me there. 26, okay. No. Quarter, no. I'm not interested in anything like this. It's basically a long. It's a long. It's still a long. I mean, I wouldn't short this. There's nothing to short against here at all. I would not take any shorts in this bond market right now. For me, it's no short. It's a no short zone. It's a no short zone. Until I see something, but it's not a short zone at all. You don't short this. You don't short this. You're asking for trouble if you short this. It might reclaim down right now. And if it does, I'd buy it. Down at 29.75 if it held it. If it slammed down to there, I'd buy it right there. But I highly doubt it will because the liquidity is now coming back and we're just going to stay in this range. So you could take a long here and put the stop all the way down there, 29.50, 29.75, and you'd run a fucking 8-tick stop. That's one thing you could do. I mean, if you really were that gutsy, if you really wanted to go long on it, you could do that. The argument for the short is really, it's 26 is on the 30-year. You got that going on. Other than that, you ain't got much. You got resistance here at quarter. You got 75 as well. Other than that, not too much. Not too much. Russell making new highs. Dow making new highs. Everything making new highs over here. Oil consolidating down. Yeah, nothing going on. I'm not impressed with the markets at all this week, guys. These last 2 weeks have been slow write-off markets. Not my good. No good markets. Slow markets. Summer markets. Even in crypto, if you guys have been following the crypto markets, everything's gone pretty slow there. The earn rates for cryptos has gone down a lot because the volume has gone down. People are on vacation, you know. So yeah, that's where I feel like I am right now. I wouldn't say I'm profitable yet, but I've definitely earned a ticket to Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory, a seat in the arena. Sure, whatever that means. He says, how can I store the full data feed? MBO, full level 2, open, close, high, low, etc. on my storage for later on analysis. On Sierra, you could do this, but not with the MBO. You could do it with level 2 and with all the historical data, you could do that, but not MBO. They don't allow you to download MBO data. They don't. When you do a market replay, you can't replay with MBO for some reason. I don't know. I guess they haven't developed the support for that yet. But you could, yeah, like I said, you can do market replays with level 2. What's the benefit of having multiple accounts instead of trading all instruments from one account? Just better organized, I guess. That's one thing. You can organize your trading in a different way. Some accounts might be strictly for futures trading, like directly with a commodity broker. Other accounts might be like an interactive broker's account that's more flexible, that allows you to trade different things. But the downside with that is that the margins are typically higher. If you need an account with lower margins, then you have to typically go with one of the more specialized brokers. I don't know why it keeps losing focus like that. Yeah, so that's one of the benefits. The other benefit would be, well, you know, if you have different, if you're a company, right, you might have an institutional account. You might have a personal account that's separate from that. So that's another thing too, having accounts under different names, entities, whatever. Just know that that might be subject to different regulations. If you're an institution and you open an account, sometimes I think they categorize you as a professional subscriber, so you have to pay double the price for market data, or 10 times the price actually, something like that. Whereas if you're an individual, you get the lower one. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So if you guys got any other questions for me, I'm here. If not, we're just going to chill and chill for a few more minutes here, sip on this coffee, and then go to work. Go to work. I ain't interested in scalping this shit for 2 ticks. Not at all, baby. Not at all. He says, so why can't I save MBO away with Sierra Chart if it's in the market feed? When I can use it in a script, I can save it away. Yeah, you could. You probably could, yeah. If you're using a script to obtain the market by order data, you could then save those values to backtest them later. Yes, that makes sense. Just note that you will not, like, you have to save it in real time. You have to be grabbing them in real time. That's the only way to obtain the data. They don't allow you to obtain the data after it's occurred. That's the MBO. Whereas with the market depth, like the order book, they do allow you to go back and historically download it. You know, you can go back and download the order book for the prior last 5 days, and then you can do a market replay with the order book on there, which doesn't require any code at all. It's just built into the software. Whereas if you're doing it that way that you're talking about MBO, recording it your own way with your own software, yeah, then it's going to require more work. But yeah, you could probably do it that way. That would be more a hacking way of doing it, you know. How to save it in real time with their API, yeah. Well, you'd have to set it up to get the, there's a certain function that they developed to access the market by order data. You need to use that function, and then you need to find a way to write the data in a way that's reliable to a file, I guess, and then read that file. So you use a built-in function basically. JP says, what are your typical trading hours? You said you don't trade full-time. Do you have another career? Yes. Well, my trading hours vary a lot. Lately, the last 2 weeks, because it's been slow markets, I haven't been trading in the morning at all. I've actually been doing something else. I do have another career actually. Well, one career is this YouTube channel. That's one thing, and then I'm actually a musician. And I've been playing a lot more the last 2 weeks, so that's been keeping me busy. It doesn't pay that much, but you know, it's more for passion, you know what I mean? It's more for the artistic body of work, calling, which is very important, because at the end of the day, when you leave this planet, what do you leave behind? Body of work. What's with this low vol cycle? Well, stocks are on all-time highs. We're in the middle of summer. There's no real sentiment. going on. There's no real big freaking sentiment. There's a lot of these little small sentiments. Like, we heard a bit about the Russia-Ukraine. We heard a bit about the Palestine situation. We heard a bit about, well, I guess those are the two main ones, But other than that, yeah, we get a lot of talk about Biden and elections and stuff like that. It is an election year this year, so I guess it does make sense that when we springboard out of this low vol cycle, that we're going to springboard into a pretty crazy cycle. I'm just speculating, I think it is possible because, it's an election year. Keep that in mind. Later in the year, you got your big players coming back, putting on big shots, taking big shots, taking big gambles. You can get a piece of those moves, if you're patient. If you're patient about it, baby. What's this low vol cycle? How to save in real time. Virillo, what I have to do for IBKR let me to trade the stocks TSLL and NVDL? I don't know. What's specific about those stocks? Are they like ETFs or something? Christos. I don't know, bro. I never tried trading those particular stocks, but is there something special about those stocks that you don't know? Okay, crude's trading below 82. Let's see. Wait a second. ZB double tick 26s. That's interesting. Yeah, I guess you could say there's an intraday resistance here, but I don't like it. I don't like trading too much on intraday levels that much, especially when the range of the day is so tight and we're an inside day like this. It's very, very dangerous to do that, Very, very dangerous, bro. Yeah. No problem. JP says you've been very patient with my questions. No problem, dude. No problem. Thanks for joining. Appreciate you. He says, after I'm set up with IBCR, do you think there's a reason or benefit to trade also on TWS? I understand I would need data subscription with IB. Well, I don't know. I mean, maybe if you trade options, yeah. Options trading is not very well supported on Sierra Chart. So yeah, if you start trading a lot of options, you're probably going to want to just do it directly on their platform and not use Sierra. I would say Sierra is mostly for analysis. Like all the stock guys I know that use Sierra for stocks, they use it just for analysis and they execute the trades on their broker app, So you can do it that way. I wouldn't really count on doing the executions from Sierra to IB. I mean, you could do it. It's going to require a little bit of setup, quite a bit of setup. But yeah. Does Sierra Chart not allow you to see the origin of the trade exchange? I don't know if they have that yet, actually. Or maybe they haven't programmed it in. But yeah, I don't think they show that. I do not think they show that. Because, for example, if I bring up a test chart and I just switch it to a stock symbol, let's see here. I don't have real-time data, but I'll just do it. And then I'll show you the delayed data. It doesn't show you the exchange. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. It would be good if it did, though. Yeah, in the time and sales columns, you see there's no column for exchange. That might be something to talk to them about, But I mean, is that really important though? Is it really important to see what exchange it executed on? I guess it is. I don't know. Maybe back in the day it was. I don't know about now when everything's so automated. What do you guys think of that? Do you think it's how important do you think it is to see the exchange? Okay, crude fell in pretty nicely here, 81.78. We're actually falling in towards the priority close on crude oil, which is interesting here. We're 1 p.m. in the afternoon, 1:15 p.m. that is. I wouldn't long it too much, but it's interesting nonetheless. 81.46. Yeah, I guess that's reasonable, like coming down to about 81.61. you know, you could probably play a bit of a bounce play here in crude. It's not a terribly bad idea, I would say. Judging based on how it sold off and then it recovered, and now we're selling off again. It's a bit of a 50-50 shot, I would say. But there is a reason to take a bit of a bounce play here, you know, based on prior day close type of idea. You know, your stop would kind of be below the low of the day, 81. And it's just an idea. It's just an idea. Win rate, trade with Dexter. Could you be more specific? Like, I have a win rate of around, I would say probably between 40 and 50% on this futures trading account since the beginning of the year. That's on this account. And it's up quite a lot. Probably about, I don't know, 50% or something. But it's a small account, so it's more, it's easier to take a risk in a small account, I guess. They say I must have a kid in English. They are great stocks for scalping. They move according to Tesla, NVIDIA. Prices between 14 and 16. And by the way, you changed my life, bro. Your tutorials, you're one of the legits out there. Keep it up. Thank you. Appreciate that, Christos. Kind words, man. He said, what software would you use for stocks, futures, options? Anything you wouldn't use Sierra Chart for to do it on a high level? I'm not really sure. I'd like to, one thing I wanted to do was start writing into intraday data files in Sierra Chart to get some of these more remote crypto coins in here, to do some analysis on those. I mean, I do them on TradingView, which is a bit annoying because I have to do everything by hand. I still do it though. So I don't really know. What would you use for stocks, futures? I don't know. I would use Interactive Brokers for options and for stocks because that's the broker I use, you know. You said Sierra is mostly for analysis. You do love it for, yes, it's very good for futures, for sure. It's amazing for futures trading. It's fantastic, actually. It's one of the best. It's very reliable. These markets are sleepy. Sleepy. No trades. No trade. Angel of Redemption says, I think the exchange is important as the big players may be trading from any one exchange. If I see Goldman dropping 1,000 on NQ, it might mean something entirely different than if it comes from NYSE. I don't know. If you think that, then yeah, maybe. I don't know. I mean, I feel like they're all the same, no? Aren't they all kind of similar? The bond market is coming in a little bit, selling off a little bit here, but we are kind of at a support level now here. You could say this is a support level based on our current trend, you know, 30 and a half, 15.5 there, 30 and a half. I mean, you know, if you want to be a little bit bold, you could take a little short trade here, you know, 4-tick, you could take a 4-tick risk, you know. You could take a 4-tick risk on this. I don't think you'd get filled that 30 half though. But you see that right there? That would be the trade. It'd be continuation long. You stop out if it goes to the prior day close, or you reverse. You reverse if it goes to the prior day close and holds it on the offer. And by the way, it's chopping here. I think you have a higher probability it just continues chopping before it does anything. And also there's a high probability you don't even get filled on 30 half here. You know? But we'll see, baby. I don't really care. Thanks, Mihi. I appreciate the kind words, man. Never stop your YouTube. You add actual value. Love your insights. I appreciate you, man. That's what it's all about. That's what I try to do. Try to make good quality content. Overshoot the next video always. I mean, you know, when I started the channel, man, I was making it with a freaking webcam, just doing little cheap trade reviews that took like an hour to do. Now I'm at a point where I can't upload little cheap videos like that anymore. I just can't. Because that's how YouTube works. You have to stay in your niche. You have to know your niche. You have to stay in your niche. Before you're in a niche, you can do whatever you want on YouTube. But then when YouTube puts you in a niche, you're stuck there, baby. Unfortunate. It's the unfortunate paradox. It goes back to what I was saying earlier about redundant work. Your most redundant work's your most reliable. Is that a particular Windows theme? Sorry for not trading related. Windows? No, it's not. I don't really know what you mean. It's not Windows, actually. It's Linux. I'm filled at 30.5. Let's see if see how wrong we are on this. It's just a one lot, anyways, so we'll see how wrong we are. And I like kind of gauging that, you know, like when it comes to like entering trades. First of all, I like to zoom out. I like to get a feel for the market. Like, and what that means for me is I like to let the market give me information about how right or wrong I am on the trade, you know? Like if I'm right, if I'm pretty right on the entry, the initial entry, I might add, I'll probably add more. If I'm really wrong on the initial entry, well, I'm going to be not adding more. But it depends. It's not black and white. Never is. In this case, it is pretty black and white because I'm looking at that prior day close, and if it does fucking start reclaiming that, it's a bad idea to stay long. Bad idea. Bad idea to stay long. But hey, let it chop. Let it chop to fucking infinity and beyond. And I'll just move this target up to where I think it should be, which is close to that daily level. Even though that does seem like a bit of a long shot, doesn't it? We'll have to just give it more time to chop around, right? Chop around, baby. Chop around. Chop me to infinity in slow summer markets. I ain't scalping this bitch. I'm day trading it for one contract. Oh, that makes sense then. Yeah, it does. One sec, guys. I'm going to go get more coffee, but I'll bring my phone. You guys can continue asking questions. I just won't be on camera. Got that wireless mic set up. Yo. I got 19 people. Oh, you guys make a shout out in the chat. Be like, yo, what's good? I'm watching the live. Make a shout out. What are you guys doing? You guys trading? You guys doing some dirty business? What are you guys doing? Seriously, tell me what you guys are doing. I want to learn from you guys. You know? I want to learn from you. All right. Back to the desk. Back to the desk. Back to the desk. Holy shit, that's delicious. Super hot coffee, but I put cold milk on top. Sick fusion. I don't know how it ended. I think it's because I shook the milk a little bit, and it gave it like a foam. So it was like cold milk on the hot coffee. So this shit's just chopping on my entry. Let it chop. Let it chop. I don't care. Let it chop. Let it chop. I don't care. I don't care if it chops in this 2-tick range here. It could chop for half an hour in this 2-tick range. I'm still staying in the trade. As long as it stays above the prior day close, I'm in the trade. I don't care. That's how I trade. I have literally no care in the world for how long it freaking chops right here. If it stays right here for half an hour, I will still be in this fucking trade. That's how I trade. Hey, recently saw your content on Sierra Chart. Send you a message about some trade management. Have no clue in coding. Oh, cool, man. If you send me an email, I'll get to it soon. Appreciate you. Appreciate you, bro. Max says, by the way, I like your image. It's kind of cool. It's like a guy surfing. He's like holding a stick, or is he skiing? No, is he snowboarding? He's either snowboarding or surfing. Anyways, it looks cool. I have a bit of an interesting question. Do you listen to any music while trading, and do you think that it only distracts you from focusing on the markets? Honestly, dude, that's another like one of those things that it's like, it really is just up to you, you know? You just have to play with it. I mean, it's what I do will not work for you, you know? You just have to play it. Like if you feel like it adds to your focus, then yeah, go ahead and put some quiet music, you know? If, you know, I wouldn't listen to like roaring black metal while I'm trading. I mean, maybe I would. I wouldn't listen to like, I don't know, man. It's really just a personal preference thing. It's up to you, you know. If you want to be like that meditative type and like get into a freaking meditative zone while looking at these boring ass markets, then sure, go ahead. It's really up to you. I personally wouldn't that much. Sometimes I'll noodle around on my guitar while I'm watching the markets. While I'm waiting for a trade to play out, I'll just noodle around and practice a few arrangements. But listening to music, not too much, not too much. Me personally, not too much, because I'm kind of very receptive to the music, to the ear, because I have a musical ear. So it could get distracting. But you know, it doesn't mean just because you have a musical ear it's distracting. It's just distracting in general. But it could be background music too. I started scalping an IBKR with 5,000 since 1 month, and every day I managed to win 1%. That's insane. Okay. Thanks, mate. Really enjoyed your Telegram bot alert. No problem, dude. Hope you enjoy it. I just picked 6 to 8 day trading stocks and watch them every day. Okay, good, good. I'm in IT 3 years ago. I did mostly options for a couple of months, did well, started day trading with stocks, did well for a couple of weeks, got overconfident, burned my ass. Root cause, I was just shooting in the dark and absolutely no chart analysis. I mean, yeah, on the surface, that's probably what you think the problem. I mean, yeah, like what you're telling me is that you weren't confident enough in your system, which is a problem, because if you're not confident enough in your system, you're never going to commit to your trades enough to actually make money trading. You know what this coffee's missing? A little bit of Chivas Regal. Or some honey wine or something. I'm missing that. Again, I told you, I don't care how much this market chops. I'm staying in the trade. I don't care. In fact, the more it chops, I might even just go along. I might even just add another one. I don't know. I need a reason to add another one, though. Let me try and find a reason to add another one. Well, we're still at support. We didn't top tick any resistance. We have 21. The 2 year is reclaiming a monthly zone. That's not a good thing at all. That's something that is actually not objectively not good for my trade, is that there's a monthly level here, and it looks like I'm probably going to be stopped out now. Let's see here, 29.75, yeah. I do have a stop right at 29.50. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to move the stop down, and I'm going to put an algorithm there saying, one moment, sell limit, wait. Sell limit when offer. So only if it goes offer at 29.50, I'll sell. Only if it goes offer. That's one of my custom algorithms. If 29.50 goes offer, I'm sure I'm gonna hit out. But if it stays bid, I'm not. So right now it's bid, I'm not hitting out. I would have been stopped out if I left my stop there. So we're just chilling. See, it traded 16 contracts, then it reversed back up. I do think there is a chance that there's a higher chance now that I will get stopped out on this because it did bottom tick the prior day close. I don't know if it's worth adding to this just yet. I mean, it is possible, you know, it wouldn't be too bad of an idea. Let me just see here. What's interesting is that we traded 1450 to a bottom tick here. We traded 2950 on a bottom tick, 1450 on a bottom tick on the 10-year. And we have some buyers that came in on 1450 as well, 163 trades. What do you guys think? We take the offer or what? Go along again? Add to the loser? I mean, yeah, there's a bottom tick there, bottom tick there. The only thing is that it's that 2-year that's really problematic. But the 2-year doesn't have that much weight. 875. It's a mixed bag. Mixed bag, mixed bag, mixed bag. It's a mixed fucking bag. I would say Christos. Keep with the vibe of just running up the bag, bro. It doesn't really matter that much how much you make a day. You just have to stay in that mind, that hungry mindset of just run up the bag, bro. That's what works for me, at least. What works for me is that I don't care how much I'm making. All I'm in the mindset of is just taking good trades. I'm scouting the markets till I have good trades because the only option I have is to take good trades. It's literally not acceptable to take bad trades. If I end up in a losing trade, I'm managing it like I'm doing now. You see, if it goes off for 29.50, I'm getting the fuck out. I don't care. And I might reverse and go short afterwards, depending on what the market does here. Okay, I'm out. You see that? I got out at 29.50. It went offered and I managed to sell at 29.50. I took a 4-tick loss there. It's okay. It was only one contract. So now we can just chill. We could even reverse, but I wouldn't count on it too much because it's right on the prior day close and it could chop there for a while. There is a bearish signal on the 2-year. The 2-year is kind of very bearish. I don't know. I'm not going to do anything, probably. I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to watch for a few minutes. Also prefer scalping at first because if you fail to scalp, you can switch to swing trade. You mean if your scalp, you mean turning your scalp into a swing trade? I don't think that's a good idea. I mean, if you plan to scalp the market and you're turning it into a swing trade, that wasn't really part of your plan. I mean, if you can adapt like that, then sure, but I wouldn't do that. I mean, if I'm planning to swing trade, I'm going to plan for a swing trade, and I might scalp around the fact that I'm planning for a swing trade, but I wouldn't do the opposite. I wouldn't turn a scalp that didn't work out into a swing trade. That doesn't make sense to me. They just went bid at 1450 and went re-offered. That's interesting. I'm not too interested. I tried listening to music, but at some point I realized I was focusing on words more than markets, then changed it to ambient. I noticed I was falling asleep. As a result, I stopped. Yeah, that sounds pretty similar. What's your annual return rate over the course of your entire investing career? I don't know, actually. I haven't been keeping track. It's been quite a while. I would say this year I've been doing probably the best out of my, since I've been trading, investing. I don't know the exact number because I try not to look at, I don't really care about the numbers, actually. Maybe I should. But I guess it's because I have multiple sources of income. So as long as I'm good type of thing. Because at the end of the day, you know, whether I make $20,000 or $100,000 or freaking $250,000 or $500,000, I need to have a reason to have that money, you know. If I'm going out there and making that money, I must have a really good reason to make that money, which therefore means I have a reason to use that money too. You know what I mean? You know when they say the saying, money only goes to the people that attract it or that deserve it? It's because you need to literally materialize it for a reason. It has to happen for a reason. You need to make that money if you need to make it. If you don't need to make it, you're not going to make it. You know what I mean? So I live in a way where, so I have multiple sources of income, that type of thing. Trading is more of like a side income. It's a side hustle that I'm working on scaling. And it's pretty cool. I've been doing it for a while. I like it. But at the end of the day, I'm an artist, guys. Like, I'm a content creator, I'm an artist. So my main goal is to, you know, provide a body of work to whoever's out there watching, you know. Part of it is on this YouTube channel, part of it is in other things. Like I said, I'm a musician. I play the guitar, I play very complicated guitar arrangements. Some of the arrangements are mine, some of them are by other guitar players. So at the end of the day, it's all about body of work, you know. It doesn't matter how much you make. It's about what you leave behind. You know, I'd be much happier dying flat broke, but with a huge body of work that people can reference for a number of years after, compared to dying with, you know, 20 million like fuck you money and just like no body of work at all. You know what I mean? Just like nothing to show except for the money, you know. Money's a tool. Money's a commodity. It's used to, it needs to be spent, in my opinion. It needs to be used to create tangible things. That's one thing, at least. Yeah. Also, do you prefer adaptive or limit? He's talking about interactive brokers, order types. I guess I use both of them. I guess adaptive is more for options. Like if you want to get into an option trade and you don't really, you want it to work on the spread automatically, then use the adaptive algo order. Limit is pretty standard. Limit is a standardized order type across all trading platforms. Let's take a brief look at what's going on here. Markets are ranging a bit on those highs, and corn's doing nothing. Crude had a little bit of a bounce here. I'm not interested in anything today. I took that one trade. I'm really not interested in anything. There's nothing interesting here. Let's see what we got tomorrow, Thursday. We got numbers in the morning, CPI. 30-year at 1 p.m. Friday. PPI again. Or no, PPI. So CPI and PPI. Okay. Yeah, that's what we got. All right, guys, I'm going to open it up for one last round of questions. If you guys got any questions, leave them now. And then I'm going to answer those and then get out of here because I got a lot of work to do. So you guys let me know if you have any specific suggestions, videos, video ideas. If you guys, you know, questions about things, about life, about trading, go ahead and ask them now. Now's the time to ask. Or else, do not know when the next time this live will happen. I'm going to try to do them every week. I probably should, to be honest with you guys. And that's what I got to tell you, you know. If you guys appreciate my content, you could always support my content by checking out Interactive Brokers using the link down below. That's one way to do it. Another way to do it, I actually have a new page. You can go to VerrilloTrading.com/tips and you can actually send a one-time donation there. If you guys are really feeling generous and you just want to donate directly to me or you want to contribute to some of my work, you can go to that page and pay in just about any currency that Stripe accepts, which is pretty much... actually, I think I did list only some of the major currencies, but yeah, most of the big ones are there and you can pay in any of those currencies. Yeah, it's VerrilloTrading.com/tips. If you guys need remote assistance for Sierra Chart or TWS, you can also reach out to me about that. You can reach out at support@VerrilloTrading.com. There's also a page you can read about that, which is VerrilloTrading.com/remote-assistance. That's another page you might want to check out if you need assistance for trading software. I am a software expert with Sierra Chart and TWS Interactive Brokers. All right. How come price moves on the DOM even though there are a bunch of limit orders? That would be because the limit orders, they pull away and stack. So I don't know. I guess that's what they do. There's a bid here at 29.25. Then in 1 microsecond, it's possible that that bid can just disappear. You know, you have an offer here at 29.50. It's possible that that offer could just disappear, and then go bid, and no trading occurred just because the market's only moving on arbitrage, limit orders. You'll see this a lot more in thinner markets and markets that don't trade as much volume, like you know, cryptocurrency futures maybe. Is there anything similar to Bookmap on TWS? No, I wouldn't say so, Alonzo. Thank you for joining. No, the closest thing would be their Book Trader, which is just a very oversimplified DOM. There's nothing like Bookmap. I mean, Bookmap shows you the whole order book, liquidity at each level and everything. That's at least what I remember seeing. Thanks, JP. I appreciate that you clicked on the referral links. I appreciate it. Gapflow, what software have you written that you frequently use for trading? Oh, that's a good question, actually. I think quite a few to be honest. I use a few here in Sierra Chart. I have a few different items, custom little studies that I wrote that help me to see the markets better, to get a better read on the volatility, to get a better read on the liquidity of the order book. One of them, well, you're looking at some of them actually right now on the screen. So yeah, some of them are Sierra Chart studies. Others are more like for trading. I'm trying to think. Mostly Sierra Chart studies and a couple of calculators I made. There was a calculator that I made. Let me see if I still have that. It would be under SRC, it would be under this, and it would be here, right? So something like this, which basically I allow, my display manager is lagging a little bit because of OBS, but basically what this does is it allows me to input different positions with a fixed rate of return to calculate, you know, a blended rate of return in an account, or potentially over multiple accounts, where I might have short positions in some assets that are yielding a rate of return, or that I have to pay a rate of return on. So for example, I might have a short position of 17,000 and I have to pay 6% a year on that. On top of that, I have a long position of 13,000, I'm earning 5.5% on that. I have another position and I might be earning, I don't know, 7% on that. And then I'll click calculate and it'll tell me exactly what my annual rate of return is for all of it, you know, put together. And then in regards to the currencies, because it is currency, right? I can decide, like, say for example, say currency 1 is US dollars and currency 2 is Canadian dollars. I can say that currency 2, because currency 2 is a short position, I want to cover currency 2 with currency 1. So it'll tell me how much my cost to cover is based on the exchange rate that I put in for the projected FX rate between currency 1 and 2, you know. So basically it's just a rate of return calculator. Yeah, I use that one. It's interesting. A little good experiment. Yeah, I'm not interested in any of the markets today. There's nothing going on, so I'm just chilling here. Really would like, 20SQ says, would really like a video of how to make custom trade management, trailing stop, automatic adding of contracts, and how to overlay different tickers on a chart, etc. Okay. Are you talking about Sierra Chart or Interactive Brokers, or what specifically? Christos says, thank you for everything. You're awesome. I appreciate that, bro. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Max. Appreciate you. Appreciate you guys joining and asking all these questions. How do you use DOM on the new IBKR desktop app? I'm not sure. I never used it. I've used the IBKR desktop app, but I don't think they have a DOM yet. They have a few options trading tools, which I was messing around with just for testing. It's still kind of in beta, though. They need to work on it more. Okay, he said Sierra Charts, so how to do custom trade management, trailing stop, automatic adding of contracts. I guess the trailing stop is pretty self-explanatory. The thing is if you want to start getting custom with it, you may need to do a bit of code, but I don't really think so. I mean, you could use their basic trade window function to do that. I could probably do a video showing how to do that. I mean, there is a video. If you just search up for Sierra Chart trading, you can probably find a video that shows some basic trade management techniques of, you know, simple bracket orders. And I'm not going to bring up the trade window now because it's going to show a live account number, and I'd rather not publicize that to the entire internet. But you know, you can easily attach a trailing stop just like you would another stop order. You know what I mean? Automatic adding of what do you mean by automatic adding of contracts, though? And overlaying different tickers on the chart. Yeah, you know what? That's something I've done before. If you go on my channel, okay, I'm going to show you. If you go on my YouTube channel, and you go to the channel, right? Go to the channel, and then you go to playlists, and then you go to Sierra Chart videos. It should be under there. There should be a video, if you scroll probably almost all the way down, that shows how to overlay. Hold on, let me find you the exact video. One moment. Yeah, here it's called, this one. It's how to create a correlation chart in Sierra Chart. That's one of them. And then the other one is how to create a custom calculated symbol in Sierra Chart. That's also a little bit interesting, but I think the one you want is how to create a correlation chart, which means how to overlay multiple symbols onto one chart to see kind of how they're correlating. Yeah, those are a bit of older videos I made maybe a few years ago. Yeah. I tried to use your study move closest attached order price, but it says I'm not allowed to use the study in the Sierra Chart log window. Yeah, the reason for that is because, as a caveat, the reason for that is because you compiled the code. Probably you got it directly from GitHub or someone sent you the DLL, and the code has been compiled with a certain block of code that it requires that your Sierra Chart username is authorized to use the study. So what you could there's two things you can do. You can either send me an email at support@VerrilloTrading.com and I can authorize you to use the study. That would be the easiest way. Or you could go into the source code and comment out the block of code that's responsible for that authorization thing. I think it's like sc.is user allowed for DLL. Comment out that if statement that uses that function and then recompile the code, and then you should be able to use it without having me to put your name, your username in the list of authorized users. So okay, well the bond market looks like it is rallying now. But I don't trust it, not even for a minute. Look at this, 862.5 on the 2-year. If it does just like top tick that, there's also resistance right here, 15.5. There's 15.5 on the 10-year, 15.5, as well as 21. 15.5 as well as 21, 862. Yeah, so 862 right there, we just top ticked it. 15.5, we top ticked it. It's a short. You could short this. You could short this for a scalp. Probably won't get filled at 30 though. I doubt it'll get filled at 30, but you never know, might get something. 15.5 still offered, still offered. Tirath, what's going on? He says, is good time to ask you how to adjust price on IBKR chart by cursor up and down if bracket order. I would say no. I actually don't even have the software running right now. But what chart are you talking about specifically? Are you talking about their advanced charts, like their new charts or their old charts? Hold on, I need to focus just for a second here. 29.5 prior day close. 862. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I would short this. I would short this. I would short this. I don't know where I would. I mean, it's a short for 30, but you're not going to get 30. You would probably get 29.75. You could probably get a tick out of this. I mean, I don't like how it bounced right off 29.5 there. That's something I do not like, actually. But even if you got like a 2-tick scalp out of this, you know, I'd probably go for 2 contracts on this and then scalp one of them after like 2-3 ticks and then grab the rest afterwards. And then if it doesn't work, just hit out. Just hit out if it doesn't work right away. But what I really like about this, what this has going for it, is that the 2-year traded into a monthly resistance right now, and the 10-year traded into an intraday resistance right now, and it's complete at that price, and now it's pulling back. So for me, that's, I guess it's a reasonable little short. The only thing I don't like is that it's bouncing off the prior day close here. So that's dangerous. That is dangerous. So what we want to see is the 2-year stay below 862.5 and hopefully get a fill at 30 here. I don't know if we're going to get that though. Highly doubt it. Then again, I doubt almost everything I see in the market, so. 15 going bid. Come on, trade some 30s. Let's go. Trade some 30s, baby. At this rate, new IBKR software will be ready in 2030. Yeah. How can I add open option positions? Add to open options positions with TWS. 15.5 traded again. Complete 14 contracts. 34 contracts. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. How to add to open options position? You mean like add to the same exact contract? Just add to it again? Just probably just click on the position in your account and just select buy and just create another buy order and add to the trade. I feel like that would be the simplest way. Will that work to correlate a contract chart with the underlying asset? Yes, it will, Alonzo, as long as the data is available in Sierra Chart. Or, you know, you can get your data from some other source and write it to your own intraday data file and then create a correlation chart using that. That's also possible. It's more technical though. But ideally what you want is the data to be available in Sierra, and then you just create a little correlation chart with that. Zakaria compiled remotely. Okay, cool. No problem. Yeah, looks like we're not going to get that 30 fill, guys. What is a good amount? Oh, serious. Hello, brother. Theory Explorers. What's going on? He says, I watched your video regarding hotkeys. That's such an old video. Iron Will, what's up, my man? He says, what is a good percentage of cash to have in an account at all times for those big red days? I'm currently at 25%. Is that good, or should it be more like 50? I don't know what you mean by 25%. 25% of what? And I don't know what you mean by big red days either. You're not supposed to have big red days, bro. You can't have big red days as a day trader. You can't have big red days. You can have red days. You can't have big red days. That's like rule number one. You're not supposed to have big red days ever. You're supposed to have red days, but not big red days. If you have big red days, it's going to wipe you out, bro. It's going to wipe you out because you're going to spend a month running up a nice bag and then you're going to give it all in one trade. It means your risk management's not in check. Something you got to tune in your system a little bit. I do not believe in having big red days. I do not believe that that is an essential component of your trading system. And what I mean by big red days, by the way, is relative to your account size, relative to your risk tolerance, relative to your winning days. That's what I mean. I don't mean big as in what you think is big. I mean big relative to your account size. You know what I mean? So let's say you, I don't know, you've been running up a bag and you make on average $500 a day in your trading account, right? If you lose $2,000 in one day, that better be your max loss limit. Because if it's past your max loss limit, ça marche pas. That's not gonna work. It's not gonna work out, baby. You gotta find another boyfriend. It's not gonna work out. Okay, I don't like this. I'm canceling these. I'm canceling all these. Canceling. You know why I'm canceling? I'll tell you why. Because we just bottom ticked the prior day close like fucking 20 times on the 5-year as well as the 10-year. All we need now is for the 2-year to reclaim 8625 and this shit can fucking skyrocket. So I think we need to take an offer. I think we need to take this offer here, guys. What do you think? Put a 1 in the chat if you want me to take the offer at 30. Or put a bid at 29.75 and take the offer at 30. The only two things you can do. They sold 30s, they went offered. I think we got no choice, guys, to be honest with you. I honestly think we got no choice. But I might be wrong. 1, baby. No, I'm not going to take the offer at 30 just yet. I'm waiting, though. I'm waiting. Because now it went offered over at 15 on the 10-year. But I like the fact that they're trading into 8625 on the 2-year. That is something good objectively. But I may need to take this offer at 30 because these markets are too slow and brutal, man. They're not backticking at all. They're so one-sided. There's nothing going on here, man. Nothing, fuck. And they're not trading into 27.5, bro. So I'm taking offer at 30. Stop limit. I don't know why it didn't buy. You know what? I could just move this up. Bang. I'm long at 30 now. Don't fuck around. I'll put another bid at 29.75. I don't care. And then what I'll do is I'll just watch it for a second. Three tick stop. Oh, they're selling 1450s. I don't like that. I don't like that too much. Oh, they went offered for. Oh, I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like that. And I'm long. I'm long. I'm long. I don't like that. I do not like that too much. Welcome to the brutal reality of trading. Summer markets. Come on, hit it, baby. Hit those fucking offers. They hit 800. Okay, bid 13. Let's go. Let's go. Bid it up, motherfucker. Yeah. Take out your offers at 15. 700. To find the quantity buttons. Where is the quantity buttons? Trade window configuration, trading commands, order quantity button. Here we go. Bang, 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 bang. Okay, cool. So far, we're chilling. What percentage of cash? Hello, brother. I watched your video regarding hotkeys. I have one problem with bracket order. When I execute and trade, I can't move my stop loss up from where I execute the trade. I'm not so sure. What kind of stop loss are you using specifically? Yeah. Let's go buy them. Buy them, baby. Buy them. Buy 30. Come on. Let's go bid at 30 now. They're overdue. 8625 on the 2-year. That needs to go bid. That needs to go bid, man. Big time. If that doesn't go bid, bro, we're finished. We need to go bid, bro. They need to keep buying 15s. If that doesn't go bid, it's over. It's over real fast here. It's going to be real over, this party. It's going to be a party over. Party over, baby. Let's say I have 50K hypothetically in the account. How much should I play with as a futures day trader? I don't know. I really don't know. It's about what you're comfortable losing. What are you comfortable losing in a day? I guess that's the first question. What are you comfortable losing every day for 5 days in a row? That's how much you should play with. I guess that's a good answer. Oh, what was that? Big sweep. It just went offered at 25.5. And I don't like that, motherfucker. I don't like that. Put my stop at 29.25 because I don't give a shit, man. Stop me out of this fucking trade. Or go in my favor. I don't care what you do. Nothing going on. It's too trash. Trash markets. I've been trading options for some time now, and I'm starting to think that for day trading is not really an efficient instrument to trade. What do you think? Yeah, Alonzo, good point. I would say that's one of the main reasons why options are difficult to trade, because they're not very efficient. They're not as efficient as futures. But that's also one of the good things about them too. That also kind of what makes them what they are. So, you know, the fact that they're not super efficient, yeah, I mean, it's hard. It makes them harder to trade. But it also makes them probably easier to make money because there's more inefficiencies. But you have to know what you're doing. You gotta know what you're doing. Is this futures market? Yes, it's a futures market, Deborah. Thank you for joining. Yes, those are U.S. Treasury futures. Indeed, they are. An entire book was one-sided since 1103 move. No. Do you use depth changes in relation to other data? And I'm out. Party over, baby. Party over. Party over. That's all right. So, entire book was one-sided since... Yeah. Do you use depth changes in relation to other data? I mean, yeah. I look at the depth changes on the book, for sure. The book just got super thick on the 10-year. I mean, look at this shit, fuck. Look at all those contracts. Well, my longs didn't work. And that's the end of the day. End of the trading day. We'll make it back tomorrow on news. Okay, guys, I'm out of here. Have a good day, okay? Focus. Have a good day, all right? Cheers. Nice talking to you guys. If you guys appreciate my content, check out some of the links down below. Go to my website, VerrilloTrading.com. If you want to give me a tip, /tips. All right, cheers. Have a good day. Enjoy it. Don't forget to like the stream. Like. Like this, like, you see? All right, cheers, guys.